Some holistic healthcare models eliminate spirituality and some incorporate them. I'm going to tell you why eliminating it is a mistake and how to avoid issues when you add it. So, for me, spiritual self-care was actually the most important self-care I did. And spiritual self-care led to metacognition, which I actually call my superpower. So, it led to me knowing which medical procedures, which medical interventions were right for me, even which medical doctors I needed, which professionals I needed, not just the individual, which was also an important component because I needed individuals that believed me and who were gentle with me, and but also specialties. I knew certain things that I had no rhyme or reason to know these things, but I knew that they were right. For example, I knew that I had a nerve condition, and I had a wonderful neurologist who tested my nerves and found nothing wrong and said, I don't know what to do next, and sent me over to Mayo Clinic, who eventually, a year and a half approximately later, found that I did have a nerve condition. Good news, it's not Parkinson's. Bad news is that it was comorbid, and I needed to anchor and re-anchor myself into that spiritual self-care, because I met with medical professionals who would say things like it's only in your head and you shouldn't be sick, and would basically call me crazy. And I knew that I wasn't, and I knew that there was more, and I knew that it was medical, and I needed to be believed. And that spiritual self-care, I have so many medical and mental health professionals that ask me, how did you do it, and how did you maintain your hope? And the answer is spiritual self-care, honestly. And incorporating it in an office setting is really difficult. It's not set up that way, right? But I think when we can destigmatize the language using literature around what spiritual, and religiosity are, and I think when we can encourage self-care, we can avoid any missteps. And so it's about that person. It has to, which is what holistic medicine is anyway, right? It's about that person. And so when we let them know that they get to have their own ideology, they get to decide what they believe, they get to decide what self-care looks like, but that they need to do it. The same way they need to brush their physical teeth and they need to take a shower, they need to take care of that part of their body that they can't find in an MRI scan. It needs it as well. So whether they're polytheist, or they believe in the universe, or they are Christian, or they're non-denominational, or agnostic, or atheist, it doesn't matter, because it's about them, it's about their understanding, and it's about their self-care. And when you put the ownership where the ownership is supposed to be, and you talk about it in terms that are from a world view and are applicable no matter what someone's ideology is, then you destigmatize this. And it really is about self-care first. And so spiritual work is both internal and external for a lot of people. I would say everyone, but I'm not everyone, so I can't speak for you. But for me, it is internal and external. And the internal work lets me hear my own voice and creates empowerment and grounding and hope that I don't find any other place. And then the external leads to hope and growth that I couldn't find anywhere else either. And so incorporating it into your practices is going to look like letting that other person define who they are, letting them be who they are and meeting them there. And just talking about self-care the same way you talk about brushing your teeth. Hope you found this helpful. Talk to you soon.